फास्टेस्ट क्रिकेट स्कोर अपडेट्स या सबसे डिटेल्ड स्टैट्स,
क्रिकेट के अंदर बाहर की खबरें
या हेल्दी डिबेट्स,
सबसे एक्यूरेट एनालिसिस
या फैंस का क्रेज, सबके लिए एक ही प्लेटफॉर्म, क्योंकि क्रिकेट मतलब क्रिकेट नेक्स्ट।
Hello everyone, you're watching Cricket Next. I'm Suryakumar Kaushik. It's time to gear up for the third ODI between India and Australia as India eye for a historic clean sweep against Australia. Now, what's in store for us? Let's hear it out from Sahil Malhotra, Jamie Alter, and Chetan Naruda. Hello, gentlemen. We are all ready for the third ODI. Now, Sahil, there are two key points out there. Some key players will be coming in, and some players have been asked to rest. And in that list, there's Shubman Gill, Shardul Thakur, Mohammad Shami, as we are hearing. How this third ODI is going to be, and what kind of playing 11 to expect?
I think surprised that Hardik hasn't joined the team. Rohit said that due to some personal reason he hasn't joined the team, and then he also briefly mentioned about a viral. Now I don't know वो क्या कहना चाह रहे थे that a viral has gripped the team, so they'll only be playing with 13 players. And I spoke to a few people, and they said that there could well be a possibility of local Saurashtra players running around for them because 13 ही लोग हैं, 11 खेलेंगे तो 2 ही रिजर्व में रहे. So that is a bit of a situation, but again Virat and Rohit will be back with the squad. Kuldeep will be there, so all these three guys are like kind of syncing up, coming back, so they walk into the playing 11, so no problem on that front. Bumrah again is available. Mohammad Shami wouldn't be available. So not many changes expected on that front. I think Rohit also mentioned that this ODI is more of an opportunity to test their consistency now, because he's very happy with the way team has played in the last 10 ODIs, and now it's just about getting into a habit before the World Cup warm-ups actually start.
Now, one thing that I want to know from you, Jamie, शुभमन गिल को रेस्ट दिया है, understood. उन्होंने जैसा 2 मैचेस में परफॉर्म किया. शमी understood. हार्दिक पांड्या पर जो एक वो क्लैरिटी है वो अभी तक नहीं आई है. दो साहिल वेरी वेल एक्सप्लेन कि रोहित शर्मा ने क्या कहा था, बट आपको क्या लगता है, वॉट एवर द रीजन वॉज, या तो क्लियरली मेंशन करना चाहिए था. अगर आपको क्लियरली नहीं मेंशन करना है तो एटलीस्ट कोई तो अपडेट होता कि हार्दिक पांड्या क्यों नहीं खेल रहे हैं.
हाँ, ideally होना चाहिए, but I don't think we expect these things from this current team because they don't really care about fans or the media. They made it very clear कि हम लोग कहाँ पे आते हैं. और ठीक है, I mean Hardik Pandya is not there. I've been saying from the start कि if there's one player who should miss all 3 matches, it's Hardik Pandya. So for me, it's not a surprise, and it's ideally he should have been there. Like we've all been saying कि जो भी players नहीं है, at least उनको squad में रखो ताकि वो rhythm में रहे, nets में रहे, भागते रहे. वो नहीं किया पांडे के साथ, but we all know he'll be there for that first match against Australia. So not a big deal if Hardik Pandya is not there.
Well, काफी सारे लोगों का ये भी मानना है कि हार्दिक पांड्या को थोड़ा बचा के ही रखिए, क्योंकि अगर हार्दिक पांड्या को कहीं पे इंजरी हो जाती है, it'll be a big blow to the Indian team in World Cup. But चेतन, यहाँ पर अक्षर पटेल की भी काफी ज्यादा बात हो रही है, because इस सीरीज से पहले अजीत अगरकर सेड कि हम लोग होपफुल है कि थर्ड ओडीआई में आएंगे. नाउ आज से ही, कल से ही इनफैक्ट ये रिपोर्ट्स आ गई थी दैट अक्षर पटेल वोंट बी देयर फॉर द थर्ड ओडीआई. अब आपको 28 तक आपका स्क्वाड भी फाइनल करना है. कितनी बड़ी एक प्रॉब्लम है यहाँ पर, क्योंकि अगर अक्षर पटेल नहीं होंगे देन यू विल हैव टू गो विद अश्विन और परहैप्स द वॉशिंगटन सुंदर. आई मीन आई एम बिलीविंग अश्विन. व्हाट डू यू हैव टू से ऑन दिस अक्षर पटेल एंड हिज इंजरी?
Before I answer the question, I want to talk about yesterday's show. Yesterday, I made a remark which can be considered a personal remark against a particular journalist. So I just want to say that that was not my intention to make personal remarks against anybody. I still do believe, जैसे लोग अपनी opinion छाप देते हैं कहीं पे भी, which are against Indian interests as a country. I still do believe, that is my opinion, that and this is a platform. It is my opinion to express on this platform that the Indian government should be more stringent against people who write against Indian interests or publish against Indian interests on whatever platforms. But to say that this person should not be granted a visa, that was a personal remark. So yeah, that I just want to clarify that was not that was not right on my behalf. Now coming back to your question today. नहीं, अक्षर पटेल, I don't see him in the World Cup squad. He can be fit, he can be the healthiest cricketer alive today, but he will not be in the World Cup. He will not be in the World Cup squad. I think he will be in the backup because he's a backup for Ravindra Jadeja. Let's be honest. And I think Asia Cup may, and as we have said many times on the show, that Ravichandran Ashwin was in the scheme of things, an off spinner was in the scheme of things even before the Asia Cup, as Sahil would say, as Srini has said many times. So
Yeah.
I think in the Asia Cup, when they saw what they had in terms of, you had Jadeja, Akshar, Kuldeep. समझ लो कुलदीप को मार पड़ती है तो उसके बाद you have Jadeja and Akshar, similar bowlers. What is the differentiation you're bringing in terms of spin? What is the variation you're bringing? So, as much as I rate Akshar, as much as I think Akshar should be in the World Cup squad, if he's competing with an off spinner, he is not part of the World Cup squad. The person he should be competing against is Ravindra Jadeja, जिसका form थोड़ा up and down है. अगर मैं सिर्फ current form की बात करूं, then he should be in the World Cup squad ahead of Ravindra Jadeja. Ravindra Jadeja at the moment is in the World Cup squad because he's Ravindra Jadeja. He's there on reputation, what he can do, not what he's done in the last 6 months or since he's come back from injury. So, but that's a very, very different conversation. I don't know how he's going to perform. So let's see how it happens. But on current form, Akshar Patel ahead of Ravindra Jadeja.
Okay, we'll talk about that as well. But Sahil, is there any update on Akshar Patel's fitness and will he be there in the squad? Because just a day is left. Today is 26th. By 28th, you have to finalize the squad.
Yeah.
Any update on that?
I think they're just hoping that he recovers in time for the World Cup warm-ups. That's what the initial plan is. He's still undergoing rehab at the NCA. That's what I last heard. But again, those are like sketchy details because all NCA matters are kept right behind sealed doors. वो एक अलग दरवाजा है जिसके अंदर penetration बहुत difficult है. But from what I've gathered and understood, that they are hoping that he'll be fit in time for the World Cup warm-ups. Now, having said that, I think the script is being played up beautifully for a Ashwin return. आप देखो how 1+1 is becoming 2 now. अब अक्सर third ODI भी नहीं खेल रहा है. So then we'll be hoping against hope कि वो warm up के लिए fit होगा और fit होगा तो match rhythm में आएगा. So again, जैसे चेतन ने कहा, I think he will still be in the scheme of things for the World Cup, but more of a backup for a Ravindra Jadeja or any ill-timed injury during the World Cup. That's the sense which I'm also gathering now, क्योंकि more and more जितना हम close जा रहे हैं उस deadline के और जितने games Ashwin खेल रहे हैं. So see, one thing is clear: if Washi plays tomorrow, then that's a different matter. But Ashwin has played 2 games. He was the first choice spinner in the first game, also second game also. So the indication is very much there that they want to back him, and he's also trying whatever is there in his control. वो रात को जाके batting भी कर रहा है Molly ODI के बाद. Then he's putting up a good show in Indore. Then has developed a couple of more carom balls. So he's doing what he can. So, but I still feel कि वो एक script जो है वो अश्विन की return के लिए properly इस time has been rolled out, and I feel that Akshar will remain in the scheme of things for the World Cup, but it will be more of a backup for Jadeja or any injury which could happen later in the tournament. That's what I feel.
Now, Rakesh feels Ashwin is a key player. No doubts about that. Ashwin is a very important player for the team. But here we are talking about that will he get the chance to be in the squad or not? Because till 28th, you have to put up a final squad for the ODI World Cup 2023. Now, Jamie, often we have talked about this, Ashwin, giving chances to Ashwin, Team India backing Ashwin. Right after Asia Cup, Rohit Sharma ने clearly mentioned किया था that he's been on calls with Ashwin, वो बातचीत कर रहे हैं. Don't you think कि ये कहीं ना कहीं पहले से, जैसे अभी यहाँ पर साहिल ने बात करी थी, the script has played out very well for Ashwin. तो do you think कि वो कहीं ना कहीं से पहले decided था कि अगर अक्षर पटेल नहीं होते हैं तो आप अश्विन के साथ ही जाएंगे? सुंदर को हमने देखा नहीं है इस सीरीज में अभी तक. Given that, अभी पता नहीं कि थर्ड ओडीआई में क्या होगा, लेकिन अभी तक की पिक्चर के साथ अगर हम जाएं, so don't you think कि कहीं ना कहीं पहले से ही decided था?
If that's the case, then we're all being led blindly, right? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. You want someone, but you're not playing him. It makes no sense. हाँ, ये जरूर हो सकता है कि अश्विन का नाम आया किसी डिस्कशन में, किसी प्लानिंग में उनका नाम आया. But if you've not picked him until the last possible window, to my mind, he was never seriously in contention. हाँ, he might have been close, But if he was close, I mean,
Yeah.
you would at least try him. Maybe you recall him for T20 eyes. I mean, he was still very much coming in like out of the cold, right? Up
Yeah.
Akshay Patel's injury, like I said yesterday, it's a very convenient injury because if people did want Ashwin, now they have no option, right? And I think I'm on the same page as Chetan been saying now for the last 3-4 days. Akshay Patel he has no chance of playing the World Cup now. Even if he does get fit, Ashwin is definitely going because now it's Ashwin's time. Right? He comes in, he plays 2 out of 2 matches, picks up 4 wickets. He's definitely playing tomorrow. So unfortunately, as good as Akshay Patel has been as a replacement player, he's not going to the World Cup, and definitely Ashwin is going. Again, Ashwin आते हैं तो I have no doubt कि he's a master of Indian condition. आप उनको कोई भी pitch दो, कुछ ना कुछ तो उनका योगदान रहेगा. But I go back to what I've been saying. If he was part of your plans, then why in the world wasn't he there at the Asia Cup? That's a question which I don't think will ever, unless Ashwin takes the highest wickets in the World Cup, Rohit Sharma wins the World Cup, we might get to hear at the Narendra Modi Stadium on the night of November 19th. Yeah, you know, this was our ace up the sleeve. We knew we might hear that only if Ashwin bows India to the World Cup. Usse pehle, I don't expect any answer, especially from Rohit Sharma.
एंड एक्चुअली जेमी, अगर रोहित शर्मा वर्ल्ड कप जीतते हैं तो फिर पता है वो इतने सारे क्वेश्चंस नहीं रहेंगे. वो सारे क्वेश्चंस पर एक फुल स्टॉप लग जाता है. फुल स्टॉप काफी रहता है आंसर्स के लिए. लेकिन यहाँ पर अभी हम कमेंट सेक्शन से कमेंट्स उठा लेते हैं. काफी सारे क्वेश्चंस है. उज्जवल दीप लिख रहे हैं, कैन अक्सर गो इंस्टेड ऑफ शार्दुल इज अ बेटर बैटर. साहिल, योर टेक ऑन दैट.
No, Shardul is playing most of the games in the World Cup. So Aksar is, matlab, I don't see Aksar playing ahead of Shardul 15 में या 11 में. Shardul है वहां पर और वो गेम्स भी खेलने वाला है. नाउ इफ यू गो विद 3 स्पिनर्स, क्योंकि अगर आप अश्विन लेके जा रहे हो तो आपको 3 खिलाने पड़ेंगे, क्योंकि आप जड्डू को तो नहीं बिठाओगे. तो अगर अश्विन को खिला रहे हो तो शार्दुल की जगह नहीं बनती. बट शार्दुल एंड अक्सर आर नॉट कंपीटिंग विद ईच अदर. आई थिंक अगर आप शार्दुल विद अ थर्ड स्पेशलिस्ट सीमर की बात करोगे, आई थिंक दैट बिकम्स अ वैलिड आर्गुमेंट. बट शार्दुल एंड अक्सर आर टू कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट स्किल सेट्स, एंड ऐसा आउट एंड आउट बैटर वहां पे नहीं चाहिए ना. वो चाहिए तो फिर अगेन नॉट अ पॉपुलर ओपिनियन, संजू सैमसन को 9 नंबर खिला दो. बैटिंग थोड़ी लंबा करना है वहां पे आपको, मतलब थोड़ा बिट्स एंड पीसेस यूटिलिटी टाइप ऑफ कैरेक्टर चाहिए. तो शार्दुल ही रहने वाला है, बिकॉज अगेन चेतन हैज बीन गोइंग ऑन एंड ऑन अबाउट शार्दुल वाइज cutters are kind of very important in these surfaces, and I completely agree with him. The slower the surfaces become, more purchase he'll get. हालांकि लास्ट 4-5 वनडेयर्स के अंदर he has been slightly off color. मेरे को उतना रिदम के अंदर शार्दुल नहीं दिखे, बट इवन when he is not in rhythm, just remember the Mohali game when there was nothing happening off the surface. He came and in a couple of overs, I think he induced a false shot of David Warner, but Shreyas Iyer grasped it in the ring. Had that not happened, वो अपना विकेट वाला काम कर गया था. So I think his knack of picking wickets and creating something is going to give him edge, and he's not competing with Aksar for any spot. That's my feeling.
चेतन, यहाँ पे एक और क्वेश्चन था. हर्ष का क्वेश्चन ले लेते हैं. बिफोर एशिया कप एंड द मैचेस टिल नाउ, वेयर डू यू सी आवर टीम इन द वर्ल्ड कप? Yes, where do you see this team going in this World Cup, Chetan?
Before the Asia Cup, I would say कि बहुत सारी चीजें थी वो undecided थी. बहुत सारे a lot of things were up in the air. The main things which were up in the air were the fitness of Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul. तो उनके वापस आने से और उनके उस फॉर्म में वापस आने से I think टीम को बहुत ज़्यादा पॉजिटिविटी मिली है, बहुत ज़्यादा कॉन्फिडेंस मिला है. Fitness is one thing, but it's also about the form that you come back in. KL Rahul, उनकी जितनी तारीफ की जाए कम है, because the day he played in the Pakistan game, he was told 10 minutes, before the toss that you're going to play today, because Shreyas Iyer had a backspin.
Yeah.
So 10 minutes, and he was obviously, there's a different prep when you're playing the game and when you're not playing the game. And he played the game, and he played the game over 2 days, and he kept wickets. And he batted and he scored 100, and then again in the next day he was keeping wickets. So I think KL Rahul has been absolutely brilliant since his comeback. Shreyas Iyer, obviously we were all worried about his back spasm, but he's been brilliant. He's been a brilliant touch. Bangalore key wickets, NCA key wickets. I think probably they are the best to get back in form. So I think that has been the major change for India. Playing a full-strength side, when you see this full-strength Indian side from pre-Asia Cup, post-Asia Cup, this series, you have to say India are the favourites for the World Cup. There's no doubt in my mind. India are the favourites. मैं पहले भी कह चुका हूँ इस शो पे, in terms of ability, in terms of talent, in terms of the team they have, in terms of the bilateral record they have in India, this team is unbeatable. Australia is the only team that has been able to beat them in a 3-match series March में. उससे पहले आप रिकॉर्ड देख लो, दूर दूर तक कोई टीम नहीं है जो इनको हरा पाई है.
Yeah.
So और अब उसी
और
ऑस्ट्रेलिया में से
अभी जिस तरह
उसी ऑस्ट्रेलिया में से आपने 5 प्लेयर हटा दिए और हमारे भी 5 प्लेयर मिसिंग हैं, ऐसी बात नहीं है. So you
Yes.
see, you compare the two things. So it's pretty much even. So India, for me, are the favorites for the World Cup. However, इस टीम की शॉर्टकमिंग है वो है कि ये दिमाग ज़्यादा लगाते हैं. बहुत बड़े साइंटिस्ट्स हैं, बहुत बड़े मैथमेटिशियंस हैं, कैलकुलेशंस करते रहते हैं. तो you know, that is for me the only weakness for the Indian team. I hope they don't make mistakes on the day of the selection mistakes, team selection mistakes on the day of the semi-final and the final, and they don't run against, and the Indian top order performs better against the left-arm pacer in the semi-final and the final. These are the two things that can stop India from winning the World Cup: wrong team selection in the semi-final and the final, and how the top order performs against a left-arm pacer in the semi-final and the final. Uske alawa, if you take care of these two things, India will win the World Cup.
So the performance of the top order and the team selection.
No,
Now,
performance of the
another
top order against a left-arm pacer on the semi-final and the final day.
ओके, सो स्पेसिफिकली सेमीफाइनल एंड फाइनल. जेमी, यहाँ पर एक और क्वेश्चन हमारे पास आया था और हमने काफ़ी बार इस पर बातचीत भी करी है. वो क्वेश्चन था, हम पहले वो वाला क्वेश्चन ले लेते हैं. गुरकनवाल का वो क्वेश्चन था, वो कह रहे थे कि आप 3 पेसर क्यों नहीं खिलाते हैं. आई थिंक काफ़ी बार हमने इस पर बातचीत करी है कि आप 3 पेसर खिलवा दीजिए. आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे गुरकनवाल को, बिकॉज वो यहाँ पे क्लियरली लिख रहे हैं तो क्या हो गया अगर आपने 3 पेसर खिलवा दिए, 30 रन कम बना देंगे, पर वो आपके डिफेंड भी कर सकते हैं इसको.
But who's saying कि number 8 पर batsman खिला? Are you saying that Sky should bat at 8? This comment makes no sense to me. Can you just clarify it? 8 number पे batsman की क्या जरूरत है? कौन बोल रहा है batsman चाहिए?
Trying to make that
मुझे लगता है कि वो शार्दुल का जो पॉइंट था उसको कह रहे हैं
बेसिकली
कि आप
शामी
खिलवाना
जो
चाह रहे हैं.
सेंटिमेंट है कि आप शामी, बुमराह, सिराज तीनों को खिलाओ. I think that's what he's trying to say.
No,
okay,
I
so
believe
no,
वो
okay,
यही
okay,
कह रहे हैं कि शमी, सिराज और बुमराह को खिलाओ और फिर शार्दुल को.
Correct. So if you're doing that, you're obviously giving yourself a better chance to bowl out the opposition, right? But what happens if the opposition has a good day? Like I've been saying, we saw it in the Asia Cup. Jasprit Bumrah comes out to bat in the 38th over. Do you have faith if this happens? And let's face it, बहुत कम chance है. लेकिन अगर वो एक match आ गया, or let's say the semi-final, you want to have Shami, Kuldeep, Bumrah, Siraj batting out time, then you've lost the World Cup right there, right? So that's my take on that.
Okay. Now, we had another question that was about Ravindra Jadeja. Chetan, you were talking about Jadeja before, and you know that Akshar should be given chance, ahead of Jadeja. So we had a question out there. Sahil, हम वो question flash करेंगे, लेकिन वो question ये था जो मैं यहाँ पे पढ़ रही थी. Yes. So Adi, I believe, user's name is Adi, is saying that Jadeja shouldn't be part of this World Cup team, and I believe that he's saying the same thing that Chetan mentioned. What's your take on that?
I don't know. I also go on reputation and sentiment when it comes to Ravindra Jadeja, because on his day what he can do, and when the surface kind of goes in his favor. अब वो इंदौर वाला pitch देख लो, बारिश के बाद the moment bit of moisture seeped into the surface, he became a different bowler. The ball was turning square, he was getting the required purchase from the surface, and then I just roll back the clock back to the 2019 semi-final game against New Zealand. He was the reason how and why we came so close in that game. I think Dhoni was just looking to bad time, but वही था जो चढ़ के खेला, थोड़ा confidence instill करा, and kept the chase alive. And we were nowhere in the contest after both Hardik Pandya and Rishabh Pant, if I'm not wrong, got out in quick succession. So again, a lot of reputation and past references come into picture when we talk about Ravindra Jadeja, and we can't really discount the quality which he brings to a setup. And I really wanted him to bat ahead of Surya in the second ODI, because Surya had a good hit in the first ODI. So maybe in the second ODI they could have brought Jadeja up the order. मैंने pre-series show में भी कहा था कि Jadeja the batter needs to be given a lot of time in the middle. That unfortunately did not happen the first 2 games. I hope they course correct in Pandya isn't playing the third game too. So अगर आप Jadeja को नंबर 6 पे भेज सकते हो, जहाँ पे उसको 20 ओवर मिले. Just spend time in the middle because as most coaches and former players would see, there's no better medicine than spending time in the middle. You get that 60 बॉल पे 25 रन भी करो, 30 रन भी करो, but जब 60 बॉल बैट पे लगेगा, so you'll grow in confidence. And with Jadeja, I don't know. Again, Chetan, Jamie wouldn't agree कि बहुत रेपुटेशन के बेसिस पे उसको हम बैक करते हैं. Yes, that is the case. But then on his given day वो क्या कर सकता है? वो आईपीएल फाइनल में देखा, 2019 सेमीफाइनल में देखा. He actually is that game changing kind of player. But वो game change 10 मैच में से 2 बार ही करेगा, but जब करेगा तो बड़ा करेगा. So that is what I am hoping for. So that is why I will continue to back him in my 11 for the World Cup.
Well, I believe that this question has cropped up because of Jadeja's off-late performances with the bat. You know, the way he performed in Asia Cup, it wasn't an impressive performance at all with his bat. And I believe that's how this question has cropped up in the last few days about Jadeja.
Yeah.
Now, Gurkavan is asking this question to you, Sahil. Chennai wicket, will Adam Zampa and Ashwin duo will be a threat? And actually, Sahil, बहुत सारे यहाँ पे questions है. कह रहे हैं कि भाई ऑस्ट्रेलिया सीरीज में तो सबने अपने अपने मेन प्लेयर्स को थोड़ा बचा के रखा है. असली टेस्ट तो 8 अक्टूबर को होगा जब इंडिया ऑस्ट्रेलिया के सामने आएगी with that full
No, that's okay, but I think
lot of
I don't expect it to be a typical traditional Chennai sluggish surface because it's going to be a fresh square. और आज भी वहाँ बारिश हुआ है, वहाँ पे भी एकदम मतलब weird इस टाइम मॉनसून पैटर्न थ्रू कंट्री चल रहा है. Dharamshala has received 40% more rainfall than usual. तभी उनका भी outfield has been infected. That's what was told at the presser today at the HPCA Stadium. और Chennai again will be a fresh square. वहाँ पे भी fresh काम हुआ है before the World Cup. So out and out first day से जाकर वो rank turner वाला feel तो नहीं मिलने वाला है. It's not going to be that typical sluggish surface from game one. Maybe midway through the tournament when more and more games are played, when the square starts tiring out under the heat and humidity, maybe then that could happen. But I think first game के अंदर out and out आप ये नहीं कह सकते कि spinners are going to come and just take the game away from the opposition. Yeah, so Zampa is going to be a threat. कितना होगा वो मेरे को समझ नहीं आया. Chetan will smile, Chetan will laugh. But first 2 games I was not really impressed with him. I think his lengths really need to be worked on because he was very much under the bat on all the occasions. First 2 games के अंदर बहुत बैट के नीचे जा रहा था. एक तो बॉल जो उसने पीछे खींचा है, clearly remember that delivery to Gill where Gill was absolutely squared up. The moment he pulls the length back, I think he's a more effective bowler. So I think that's what Zampa needs to work on because he's very quicker through the air. और वो जो फ्लिपर मार के उसने गिल का डंडा मारा था मौली में, वो कड़क बॉल था यार. So I think वो थोड़ा सा लेंथ पीछे खींचेगा तो he'll be far more effective. But the moment you come under the nose of these Indian batters, it's going where KL Rahul deposited him in the first ball he faced in Indore. वो सीधा ही जाने वाला है.
तो जैम्पा कितना बड़ा थ्रेट है चेतन? अभी तो आपने 2 ODIs देख लिए हैं यहाँ पर, लेकिन सबका मानना ये है कि रियल टेस्ट होगा 8 अक्टूबर को, जहाँ पर दोनों टीम्स वर्ल्ड कप मोड में होंगे और खेल रहे होंगे. बट इवन देन Zampa, will he be the biggest threat for the Indian batters in Chennai?
Absolutely, there's no doubt about that. Sahil has not been impressed. That's a different thing. मतलब देखो आप उन्होंने इंदौर में कैसी गेंदबाजी की है जहाँ पे 400 रन बने हैं. He's given away 60 runs in 10 overs. That on that wicket with that boundary with the players who are superb against spin on such wickets, not on turning wickets. Turning हो रही होती तो ये 5 wicket ले जाता. On a flat track with short boundaries, Indian batsmen murder spin bowlers. उस पिच पे 10 ओवर में उन्होंने 60 रन दिए हैं. तो imagine what he'll do on a turning track. अब Zampa का रिकॉर्ड उठा के देख लो. In India that speaks for itself. If he gets purchased out of the Chennai track, India could be in a bit of a bother, especially if they don't make a good start. To counter the Australian bowling, it's very important for them to make a good start. Counter Mitchell Starc, counter Cummins, counter Hazelwood. These 3 will be bowling. Then you have. I'm not very very keen on Mitchell Marsh, Stoinis, and Green. वही same formula जो है, जो इंडिया हार्दिक और शार्दुल या हार्दिक या थर्ड स्पिनर से निकालने की कोशिश कर रहा है 15 ओवर का. ऑस्ट्रेलिया भी वही फॉर्मूला लगाने की कोशिश कर रही है उन 3 पेसर्स से 15 ओवर निकालने का. So I'm not very convinced about that, but that will affect their second spinner, whether they want to play a second spinner. So I'm not sure Ashton Agar will play against India. So it just depends on the condition, and there is no way, absolutely no way, it's going to be a turning wicket. It's the first week of October. the first week of a new season which ends in May with the IPL. There is just no way at all where it's going to be a turning wicket. हमने जो मोहाली में देखा था across the World Cup हमें वही wickets मिलने वाले हैं. And it depends on the day. Zampa is a fantastic bowler. He's bowled superbly in both Mohali and Indore. I think Mohali may pick 2 wickets, if I'm not wrong. But Indore may on that pitch when they're scoring 400, he's given 60 in 10 overs. That's brilliant bowling.
Now we have seen these 2 ODIs. Jamie, I want you to answer on that as well.
Sorry,
Chetan,
1 second.
right?
I add one little thing, just when he was talking about Mitchell Marsh, Cam Green, and Marcus Stoinis. What I saw from a distance for the first 2 games, I think they're very much in the similar mold. आप ये 3 bowlers जो है, I think Australia is going to kind of suffer because of the punt which they'll play on these 3 all-rounders in the 11 because ये बहुत similar bowlers हैं. Unlike the variety Shardul and Hardik bring because they are different bowlers. I think Stoinis, Green और Mitch Marsh मुझे पर्सनली बहुत सिमिलर बॉलर लगते हैं और आप इनके अगेंस्ट एकदम यू कैन जस्ट काइंड ऑफ टेक ऑफ. सो आई थिंक मैक्सवेल द बॉलर हैज टू बी
सो मैक्सवेल का नाम मैं लेना भूल गया था. सी द थिंग इज you have 10 overs from Cummins, 10 overs from Hazelwood, 10 overs from Stark on a good day, and they have good days 9 out of 10 times. Zampa will give you 10 overs, चाहे वो पिट भी रहा है. अगर वो 6 पर ओवर भी जा रहा है, that means the other bowlers are going at 7 and over. Zampa is that kind of thing. The last 10 overs, you have 4 bowlers to play with without a second spinner. Without playing a second spinner, they have Marsh, they have Cameron Green, they have Stoinis, and they have Glenn Maxwell. So I think that actually strengthens Australia. When you have 4 bowlers to divide 10 overs, that actually strengthens them and not weakens them. And even if they are similar type of bowlers, go over, that अगर ग्रीन 2 ओवर करा रहा है, कोई 3 ओवर करा रहा है, कोई 2 ओवर करा रहा है, कोई 3 ओवर करा रहा है, आप पूछो किसी भी बैट्समैन से, वो पागल हो जाएंगे भैया मेरे को 10 ओवर के अंदर 4 अलग गेंदबाज फेस करने को मिल रहे हैं. As a batsman, in momentum, in rhythm, you want to face the same bowler again and again. That's a huge positive for Australia. It's not a negative.
Well, there are positives and negatives for Australia. I was coming to the point that Harsh has mentioned here, Jamie. Will Travis Head's absence bother Australia in this whole World Cup? We have already seen these 2 ODIs, and on that basis, I want to know your answer.
Oh, absolutely. Since he came back at the start of 2022, he's been their leading run getter, from the top 3. David Warner's now got some form in South Africa, but Travis Head was by far their best batsman. Smith was in and out. Labuschagne was dropped from the World Cup squad. Mitchell Marsh, but if you talk about consistency, since he was recalled after almost 4 years last year, he's been their best batsman. He can bowl off spin. He's taken wickets. So he's a massive loss. And unfortunately, they don't have a replacement for Travis Head. You can replace a David Warner. You can replace a Stephen Smith because Stephen Smith is nowhere near even a very good player when it comes to one days. Everyone in that Australian team in some level can be replaced. Travis Head cannot. So it's a massive injury. और इनके कोच ने कहा था कि we're looking at least half the World Cup. अब half the World Cup from a non-medical expert, that could become 2/3 of the World Cup. So it's a massive blow. But I think the way that Mitchell Marsh batted against India, जब team आई थी मार्च के महीने में, even in the match they lost, he got 85 off 68 balls. So if you have someone like Mitchell Marsh, मेरे हिसाब से I would just directly bump up from 3. If you're batting 3, you should be able to open. So मेरे हिसाब से Mitchell Marsh opens. Then you use someone like a Stephen Smith, who's always looking very awkward to me in white ball cricket. उनके पास numbers हैं. He's a World Cup winner. But in his current form right now, at his current age, his last World Cup, I wouldn't want him batting at number 4. He's a liability. So agar head nahi hai, bump up Mitchell Marsh alongside David Warner and put Stephen Smith at number 3.
So, Jamie, Australia roped in Matt Short in place of Travis Head. Do you think that he'll be able to fill that void? Will he be able
Maxwell?
No, Matt Short.
Oh, no. See, Matt Short is that, how do I say it? Matt Short is a typical BBL product like Chris Lynn. ये वही चलेंगे अंतरराष्ट्रीय क्रिकेट में, ना तो वो चल सके, ना डार्सी शॉर्ट चल सके, ना मैट शॉर्ट. अब I think last match there was one match where Matthew Short came like down the innings. या तो साउथ अफ्रीका में था या यहाँ पे था. He's an opener, right? But we saw इस IPL में he was playing for Punjab Kings. ना वहां कुछ कर पाए. तो if they're looking at Matthew Short to open, then I mean we can just rule them out of World Cup's contention. उस बंदे से नहीं हो पाएगा यार.
Because they called him in place of Travis Head, and it doesn't seem so that he
They
fills that
called him,
void
but
completely.
they have नहीं हो पाएगा. If Matthew Short could not succeed in 10 overs in the IPL on these same tracks, one day World Cup में कैसे होगा? He's a typical T20 product, BBL product, player of the tournament last year, but इनका यहाँ चलना. I mean, look at David Malan. He was ranked number 1 for like 3 years. The guy couldn't score a run in India. ऐसे players को, if they're seriously considering him, it's a bad idea.
Now today morning I was reading one article, Chetan, where Harbhajan Singh mentioned that Suryakumar Yadav should be there in India's playing 11 in all the matches. Do you second that thought? And along with Harbhajan Singh, I read a lot of articles where a lot of former cricketers believe that given the way he is performing nowadays against Australia, he should be there in the playing 11 in all the matches. Do you second that?
All the matches of the World Cup.
Yep.
क्रिकेटर्स के साथ ये प्रॉब्लम है कि उनको वो कोई भी स्टेटमेंट मार देते हैं, उनसे कोई एक्सप्लेनेशन नहीं मांगता. सो आई थिंक दैट्स अ ग्रेट जॉब टू हैव. और हम लोग फिर जवाब देते रह जाते हैं. किसको ड्रॉप करोगे? श्रेयस अय्यर को, केएल राहुल को, ईशान किशन को, हार्दिक पांड्या को, या मोहम्मद शमी को, या जसप्रीत बुमराह को, या विराट कोहली को, या रोहित शर्मा को, या शुभमन गिल? सूर्य कुमार यादव को अकोमोडेट करने के लिए प्लेइंग 11 में 8 अक्टूबर को किसको ड्रॉप करोगे? ये सवाल हरभजन से किसी ने नहीं पूछा, ना उसके पास उनका कोई जवाब भी नहीं होगा.
चेतन, मैं एग्जैक्ट स्टेटमेंट पढ़ना चाहूंगा फॉर एवरीवन एंड द व्यूअर्स. अभी मैं गूगल करा. सूर्य कुमार यादव शुड प्ले एवरी मैच इन हुज प्लेस बट हिज नेम. अब यहाँ ऑडेसिटी देखो. हिज नेम शुड बी द फर्स्ट वन टू बी रिटन डाउन. आफ्टर दैट द अदर प्लेयर शुड बी सिलेक्टेड.
Exactly, I was referring to that comment.
Who said this?
हरभजन सिंह.
This is Harbhajan Singh.
हाँ, तो कह तो रहा हूँ कि यार मतलब it's very easy to be a cricketer and just shoot off your mouth and not explain it. So that's fine. There is no logic in it. There is no sense in it. And वही मैं पूछ रहा हूँ ना. I want to ask Harbhajan Singh, किसको ड्रॉप करोगे? विराट कोहली को, रोहित शर्मा को, शुभमन गिल को, श्रेयस अय्यर को, केएल राहुल को, किसको? हार्दिक पांड्या को. हाँ,
जडेजा.
Somebody says कि Surya Kumar Yadav should be the first name on the team sheet and not Hardik Pandya. आपको क्रिकेट छोड़ देनी चाहिए. क्रिकेट इज नॉट फॉर यू. अगर सारा कुछ देखने के बाद if you say कि सूर्य कुमार यादव is the most important player and not हार्दिक पांड्या, आप क्रिकेट छोड़ दो, अपना टाइम वेस्ट कर दो.
बट उनका एक अपना ओपिनियन होगा. लेकिन आज यहाँ पर चेतन बड़ा क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं कि फिर हम किसको ड्रॉप करेंगे. किसको ड्रॉप करेंगे, ये एक और बड़ा सवाल इसके आगे खड़ा हो जाता है. पर चलिए देखते हैं आगे आने वाले टाइम पे क्या वो इसका भी जवाब देंगे या नहीं, वो तो हमें पता चल ही जाएगा. यहाँ पे गुरकंवल वापस पूछ रहे हैं हाउ डू एट गुरकंवल पूछ रहे हैं हाउ डू एट डिफरेंट वेन्यूज विल अफेक्ट रिजल्ट्स इन द वर्ल्ड कप. चेतन, दिस क्वेश्चन इज टू यू.
I think it's a very important question, and I think it is impacting a lot of strategies already. People say कि आप 3 पेसर खिलाओ, ये करो, वो करो, 3 स्पिनर खिलाओ, शार्दुल को मत खिलाओ. I'm just talking from an India perspective. ऐसे नहीं होता है. You look at the games where India is playing. Lucknow में people want to play 3 spinners on 29th October, bang in the middle of autumn. या तो आप कभी नॉर्थ इंडिया में रहे नहीं हो, या आपने नॉर्थ इंडिया में क्रिकेट नहीं खेला है. 29th October को you're saying with due you want to play 3 spinners against not Sri Lanka, not Bangladesh, against England. They're going to score 400. Similarly in Calcutta, वहाँ पे any day of the year it's due. In an ODI under lights, it's going to be due. So you can't play 3 spinners in areas where there's going to be due, and 3 spinners is going to be impacted. आप एक innings के लिए अपनी टीम नहीं select करोगे. As far as the role of due, I would say North India, North East, North Western में आपको बहुत ज़्यादा मिलेगा due as the tournament progresses. Obviously the matches are starting at 1:30, so you're looking at finishing around 10ish in the night. Around 8 p.m. tak it'll be still okay. After 8 p.m. you'll see a lot more. So basically second innings के second half में you're going to see a lot more dew. But there's going to be a lot of strategy. अगर dew ज़्यादा होना शुरू हो गया, so you probably will see two spinners only playing, and you will see them bowling in the first 10 overs, as many overs as possible by over number 30, ताकि last के 20 over में आपको spinners नहीं use करने पड़े. When there is dew, and because 8 to 10 p.m. that's going to be your last 20 overs. That's why I think Shardul Thakur का role बहुत important हो जाता है. The ball is going to do a bit under lights with dew. He can use his off cutters. If there is a lot of dew, third spinner के लिए grip करना मुश्किल होगा. You don't want to play three spinners when there's dew. So, and more importantly, the last point, the reason why Pakistan is playing three pacers, frontline pacers, because their batting allows New Zealand, England, Australia, South Africa, three frontline pacers because their number 6, 7, 8 allow that. India 6, 7, 8 don't. 6, yes, Hardik Pandya, but 7, 8, India ka 7, 8 doesn't allow that to play three full-time pacers. So from that perspective, these teams are preparing well with those three frontline pacers. Like Australia, have 6 pace options. Brilliant. Dew mein 6 pace options, 3 of them bowling off cutters, 3 others can bowl slower variations. It's going to be brilliant to watch. It's going to negate your dew. So every team will have different strategies, but
so reading the conditions will also be very important, right?
Yeah,
for each and every
team. I don't see 3 spinners in a lot of games. At least by the time we reach November, तब तक मुझे 3 spinners नहीं दिखाई दे रहे. बाकी क्या कह सकते हैं?
Okay, चलिए हम एक दो questions और लेंगे. Couple of questions more in this live session. Here I can find out Sachin Chaudhary's question that please tell us which team is looking the strongest in this World Cup. Chetan already mentioned and he talked about the Indian team. Jamie, apart from the Indian team, which team do you think is the strongest in this World Cup, moving into this World Cup?
I think if they play to potential, I will still put Australia. क्योंकि आप इनका recent South Africa tour देखे, they won the first 3 matches and then they lost their onwards. Like we discussed the other day, I'm not reading into their performance against India in these 2 matches. ये autopilot mode में है, इनके top players नहीं है. If they play to potential, because मेरे हिसाब से Australian teams की जहां बात करें सुरमे, it's not just about what they're doing a week or 10 days before the World Cup, right? There's a reason कि इस team से ज्यादा किसी देश ने World Cup नहीं जीता. They bring a certain attitude, a certain belief, a certain professionalism to all World Cups. And if they play to potential, to my mind, they're still the favorites. Definitely walking into the semi-finals. अब वहां पे क्या हो सकता है? It's anyone's guess. But after India, for me, it's has been Australia all throughout the year.
And it's all about mighty Australia. हमेशा कहते हैं कि Australians are very mighty and let's see what happens in World Cup. यहाँ पर उज्जवल दीप पूछ रहे is batting depth a concern if there is a collapse? England is 11 batters. We have 3 number 11. Is that a concern? Sahil?
I don't know. I don't believe this ideology that you are banking so much on a 9, 10, 11 to do the batting. ठीक है, those 25, 30 runs on a given day can be very crucial, but the job is for the top 6, not even 7. I don't even count Jadeja in that list. हार्दिक तक आपकी बैटिंग खत्म हो रही है, खत्म. वो 6 में से 2 को रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेना है कि मेजॉरिटी 25-30 ओवर खेलना है. If that mindset is kind of ingrained into the team setup and team ideology, you wouldn't need to worry about things like batting depth and stuff like that. Just let your top 6, top 5 again. I think a couple of shows back, Chetan mentioned about that golden period of Indian top order where Rohit, Shikhar, Virat actually kind of did what they did, and हमें नंबर 4, 5, 6 की कभी रिक्वायरमेंट ऐसी फील भी नहीं हुई क्योंकि उन 3 में से 2 जाके सैकड़े लगा आते थे. तो वैसा माइंडसेट ले आओ ना यार. नॉट मच हैज चेंज्ड. शिखर को शुभमन ने रिप्लेस करा है, हु इज योर क्राउन प्रिंस इन द मेकिंग, जिसका एवरेज इज काइंड ऑफ सोरिंग बाय एवरी गेम ही इज प्लेइंग. ही इज काइंड ऑफ हैविंग, ही इज इन टचिंग डिस्टेंस ऑफ तेंदुलकर's 1984 वाला रिकॉर्ड. So what better than him, yaar? So you still have a top 3. You have Shreyas Iyer at 4. You have KL Rahul at 5. You have Hardik Pandya at 6. So if that 6 doesn't give you confidence, the 9, 10, 11 will never give you that confidence. So England bat in a certain way. That is why they need depth in batting, because it's a high risk, high reward kind of approach. वो 6 में 40 करके भी they can be 6 में 60 करके भी 3 विकेट खो सकते हैं. But India you know, the way they play their ODI cricket, it's more about playing deep into the game. 35-40 over तक you will see that 6-6.5 run rate का average, and then suddenly taking off in the last 15-16 overs. तो उस template के लिहाज से 6 बैटिंग तक ठीक है यार, नहीं कराना नीचे बैटिंग ठीक है.
So should India play their full strength 11 in both warm-up matches? Sahil?
कोई भी नहीं खिलाता. मतलब वो आप रिस्क क्यों लोगे? मतलब you'll test what you want to do. मतलब you'll see the players who you want to give a bowl in those games. Maybe one of the games you give Bumrah a bowl, one of the games you give Siraj a bowl. Rotate your bowlers. Again, same for batters. मतलब दोनों मैच क्यों आपको खिलाने हैं रोहित और विराट को? Just
and get them in the blue.
Give someone like a Jadeja a hit. इंग्लैंड वाले के अंदर आई एक्सपेक्ट अ फुल, आई थिंक एक ड्रेस रिहर्सल सॉर्ट ऑफ गेम होने वाला है वो, जो इंग्लैंड वाला हमारा फर्स्ट वार्म अप है. वहां पर आप अपना फुल स्ट्रेंथ स्क्वाड देखेंगे, सिमिलर बॉलिंग अटैक देखेंगे, इक्का दुक्का ऊपर नीचे चीजें हो सकती हैं, बट आई थिंक द इंग्लैंड गेम इज मोर ऑफ अ ड्रेस रिहर्सल फॉर द सीजन ओपनर अगेंस्ट ऑस्ट्रेलिया ऑन October 8th. बट आई थिंक द सेकंड गेम अगेंस्ट नेदरलैंड्स यू विल सी थोड़ा सा रिलैक्स्ड लुक. वहां पे सूर्य आ जाएगा 4-5 पे, जड्डू को खिला दोगे 6 पे. दिस इज व्हाट आई फील. दोनों गेम के अंदर क्यों आपको पूरा अपना फुल स्ट्रेंथ उतार के बर्न आउट करना है? बहुत ट्रैवल्ड. आई वाज जस्ट गोइंग टू पूरा लिस्ट एंड वेयर हु इज प्लेइंग वेयर. सो इंडिया बिकॉज होस्ट नेशन है, सब सारी स्टेट्स को, एसोसिएशंस को खुश करना है. मोस्ट ट्रैवल टीम राइट फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट वार्म अप गेम टिल द लास्ट लीग गेम इन बैंगलोर. सो बर्नआउट भी नहीं करना है कि वार्म अप में ही सारा अपना फ्यूल एग्जॉस्ट कर दो. This World Cup is the new format where everyone is playing everyone. It's more of a marathon, and it becomes anybody's game when the top 4 are finally decided after each team goes on to play 9 games. So take it step by step, and let's just not get way too far ahead of ourselves.
I believe that traveling point is very valid point because काफी बार इस पर भी बातचीत हमने की है कि इंडिया इतना ट्रैवल कर रही होगी इस पूरे वर्ल्ड कप के दौरान. Well, we'll talk about the warm-up matches once we get there. For now, let's all get ready for the third ODI between India and Australia because it's going to be a big day for India as they have a chance to whitewash the series against Australia. Never it has happened before, so it's a big chance for Team India to do so. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining with me, and thank you so much, everyone, for your
फास्टेस्ट क्रिकेट स्कोर अपडेट्स या सबसे डिटेल्ड स्टैट्स,
क्रिकेट के अंदर बाहर की खबरें
या हेल्दी डिबेट्स,
सबसे एक्यूरेट एनालिसिस
या फैंस का क्रेज, सबके लिए एक ही प्लेटफॉर्म, क्योंकि क्रिकेट मतलब क्रिकेट नेक्स्ट.